Hey everyone, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in London. I'm grossly jet lagged, and I was thinking about International Women's Day and how to say something really intelligent about it without sounding like a hypocrite, which is really difficult. But those that know me know that male, female, I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. I raise my kids in that way, in that my daughters can be anything that they want to be. If they want to be pilots, astronauts, data scientists, they want to work in tech, they want to play soccer. My daughter plays in a mixed team. Who cares? I've honestly never cared, but it's never always been like that, has it? It's always been throughout my history of when I was studying an MBA, there was just so many men and very few women. And they had good initiatives to help provide discounts for female leaders to come through. And even when I worked in tech, there was just, I was in a go-to-market meeting once, one female in the entire group. And as a leader, I'm someone that I employ people based on whether they're whatever they are, male, female, nothing, I don't care. Like, as long as you can do the job, I think the more diversity we bring, the better the team is, the different perspectives that you can bring. And I'm really proud to have worked with for so many amazing females throughout my career. And I'm not going to rattle them all off because I was actually lying here jet lagged in bed. And I think I counted like 25 or 30 amazing females that I've worked with, and it's just too many for me to go and list on this video. But there is one female that I wanted to highlight today. And she's the reason why I went to work at Contentsquare, because she's the Chief Product Officer at Contentsquare. And when I sat down and did this podcast with Lucie Buisson, I just saw a completely different side of the way she runs a team. And the empathy that she brings, the humor and intelligence and smarts and creativity. And I just was really excited about working for her. And I loved one part of the podcast when she said she was raised to believe that she could do anything she wants. And that's how I raise my kids. So on International Women's Day, I wanted to publish this podcast with Lucie Buisson, which was the end of a long workshop where Lucie and I sat down, had a bottle of champagne, and talked about running tech, being a leader, and not worrying about whether you're a male or a female.
The Tech Seeking Human podcast is a podcast about AI developed by humans. We're asking the big questions. Is AI going to cure cancer? Is it going to make our lives better? Will it help us improve our jobs? Or will it eliminate them altogether? Potentially even eliminate humans altogether.
Dave, you and drama.
Well, it's possible. So we set off on a journey to interview some of the brightest minds in the world. TED Talk speakers, thought leaders, keynote speakers, authors, journalists, people like
Max Tegmark, Trisha Wong, Hannah Fry, the list goes on.
See, Max actually thinks that the AI could potentially wipe out the human race.
Well, less than 50%.
Join us for the Tech Seeking Human podcast. Subscribe now, hit the like button. Well, how do we do a podcast where I haven't got a drink? We're in Paris. Why are we doing this? We need to be doing this properly. So,
yeah, I don't want to be alone drinking,
In the true sense of Paris, I thought I would bring something special. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm Chief Product Officer at Contentsquare. We are helping our customer understand better their customer online so they can build. I like the sound of this.
That sounded good, didn't it? Helping your customer to deliver better digital experiences. Pop, there's the champagne.
Exactly. So yeah, really helping them building more empathy with their customer so they know better how to help them. So they create amazing experience. So customers are happy, they buy more, they come back more, and like happy brand, happy customer, happy Contentsquare.
Essentially, you're positively following users as they go through websites and helping brands optimize their site, improve conversion rates, look at what's engaging, what's not engaging, look where there's problems in that experience So that people can have better experiences every time they go online, right?
Yeah, we do that, exactly. And we do that by focusing only on the...
Cheers.
Cheers. Focusing only on the behavior and the context. Like what we say is that we don't need to know who you are in order to understand what you are trying to achieve. And if you get frustrated or super happy about that. So I think that this is really the key of what we do. We collect a lot of data from the experience, the clicks, the hover, the errors, the merchandising data. But we don't collect any private information. We don't need any private information in order to start building this empathy. If you think about it, like if you're in a store, you don't have to ask your customer name before you start helping them, because you can just read their body language, right? Like if I'm running and I'm sweaty, nobody's going to tell me about the DNA of the brand, right? You're just going to help me check out as fast as possible because it's obvious that I am in a hurry. And online, we have even more data than we have offline to be able to better understand our customer. So it's a massive untapped opportunity.
Is it really common? Like, is it something that every brand is doing, or is there a gap between the companies that think they're delivering really good digital experiences, but that don't quite have the visibility that would help them really understand that customer?
Well, I don't think it's for me to answer.
Oh.
I think it's for the customer of our customer to answer.
Okay.
And when we do studies, what we see is that 80% of people says are frustrated by their online experience, you know? I think COVID has changed a lot. I think before, for a lot of traditional businesses, the website was equal to your biggest store or equal to your biggest agency if you are in travel or in banking and etc. And during COVID, because everybody has to shut down in one night, suddenly the person in charge of the digital experience has become someone very important and got much more budget, but much more traction. And now I think it's top of mind of C-levels. So we really see that it's resonating more and more. And we really see our customer investing in product like ours, but also in teams, you know, because you need to dedicate people in order to create those amazing experiences.
I want to go into a few things around being a female leader in technology. Were you raised as someone to work in tech?
No.
Well,
I came in tech like completely by chance. I was just out of business school. And I did the entrepreneurship major because at that time I wanted to create my own company. I think I was raised to create my own company. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I was super lucky that my parents raised me in a way that I didn't know that there was differences between men and women. I really felt growing up that I can do whatever I want, and I know not a lot of people feel that way. So I was finishing an internship at a company named Sarenza. And long story short, I was trying to work on conversion and retention and loyalty, but we didn't have any data. And they wanted to switch to conversion because their cost of acquisition was too high. But every time the acquisition team was putting money in the machine, they knew exactly what was the ROI. And us on the conversion team, because we didn't have data, we couldn't prove the value of our program. And then by chance, I got to learn about Contentsquare. I met Jonathan Cherki, our CEO, and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I missed. And but at that time, I thought it was consulting. And I realized after arriving that we were having our own product. But at that time, it was more consulting and doing the switch to self-service, you know. And after 6 months being at Contentsquare, having our first customer using the platform by themselves, our CTO convinced our CEOs that they needed someone in between, and they asked me to create a product team.
I'm going to ask one thing. You made a comment about women in tech, and you said you were lucky that your parents raised you in a way that meant that it didn't matter whether you were male or female. And a lot of people will struggle with like tech teams that are very male orientated, and whether it's the companies and the people that are hiring that are causing the bias, or is there something we can do as parents? And I'm a parent of 2 girls, and I teach my girls that they can do anything they want to do.
I think it's a lot of, I don't want to put too much pressure on parents. I think it's a parenting thing. I think it's a society team. I think it's a company thing. We have to create role model, you know? I was very touched by when she came into office, Kamala Harris, she had a beautiful speech about, I hope that a young woman, by seeing me now on stage being a woman of color, they say that everything is possible. So I think the role model is important.
Wait, did you say Kamala Harris came to the office?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, came into office. All of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is getting even really, really. But I agree with you. So she's vice president of the United States.
Yes.
I was like, what's she doing coming into Paris at the Contentsquare office?
She's not. Like, soon. She hasn't
She will
yet.
be here soon.
She hasn't yet.
Open invitation.
Exactly, open invitation. Anyway, now, and I think it's a lot also about the parents, And you know how when you are a girl, very often you are asked to be kind and careful and empathetic and quiet and not too funny. I think those are, you know, like it's hard. Like if when you are a girl, you are told to do stuff that your little brother or big brother cannot do. You know, it creates a mindset. So yeah, my sister and I, we were very lucky to have parents that always told us that whatever we want, we can get, and to really like push us in being ourselves, you know. So
it seems to me in my research when I was looking at Contentsquare that there's this human factor. Contentsquare has this moral backbone and is doing good, from what I understand.
We do to try to contribute to a better world is to try to make the digital world more accessible. Because if you create amazing experience for half of the population, it's not enough, you know? If half of the population have some disability that is making it harder for them to browse online, and now you see that a lot of services are only available online. Like if you want to do your tax, you have to do it online.
I don't want to, but yeah.
You don't want to?
No, I don't want to. If that fails, that'd be great. And we get extensions. That'd be really good.
Let's not do tax anymore.
Yeah, can we not do tax?
Exactly.
Or let's bring tax down. And we'd be really popular with everyone, I reckon.
Not very French.
No, not very French.
Like I mean, it's like this for everything. Now, if you want to take a train ticket, it's going to be digital, you know.
Yeah.
So you cannot. We cannot say, okay, some part of our life are going to be online, mandatory, and not make sure that everybody can access. So we're also trying to help our customer understand how they can make their experience more accessible.
Yep.
And the third topic we are working on, and it's new, we are learning, it's how do you make your experience sustainable. 10% of the CO2 emission today come from digital browsing. Wow. So we also have a part, you know, and it's stuff as simple as you have a video on your homepage that is not creating any engagement. It's useless, which means that you are making your speed performance less good.
Yep.
Every time it's loading, you are losing money because you are paying your CPU on your server, plus you are hurting the planet.
Yep.
So, you know, let's make it great for your customer. Let's make it great for yourself because you're saving money, and let's make it great for the planet.
It's nice because as you think about it, you go 10% is digital, and the way in which the cloud keeps growing 30% quarter on quarter. We're just getting more and more digital. We're storing more photos. We want more videos. There's more TikTok. These things run in a data center. Data centers consume power. CPU costs money, costs the environment. Makes a lot of sense. I'm going to read a phrase for you. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to do it in French.
Okay.
Non, je suis désolé. Dormir, c'est mourir un peu. Un peu. Dormir, c'est mourir un peu. Which translates to...
Sleeping is dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is someone telling me to tell you this?
Because I think he was our third or fourth company kickoff, you know. Every year we are bringing the team together because we think that we are in a human business and that if the C-squad, our employee can connect, spend time together, have a laugh, discuss about where they are disagreeing, then the company is going to be 10 times better, you know?
Yeah.
And we're going to create more value for our customer.
Yes.
And we're going to Morocco. And the schedule was a bit weird, you know? Like, so we had 2 days, 2 nights. And on the second night, we were supposed to take the bus at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. to go to the airport. And the party was ending at 4
in the morning.
4 a.m., okay? So I told people, it was just an advice, sleeping is dying. If you go to sleep at 4 and you try to wake up at 5, you're gonna die. So basically, my advice was, don't go to sleep. Just go straight from the party to the bus to the airport.
So you're the type of leader that encourages the team to stay up all night, stay at the party, keep collaborating, keep talking about the problems, networking with each other.
Creating a better product.
Yeah.
Yes,
How do we
exactly.
go to market more effectively? You know, what sort of, branding techniques and how are we going to sell this product at 4 o'clock in the morning for a flight at 6? Yeah. Okay. Like I've heard of the Japanese culture and they're like, stay in the office until the boss leaves. Is it a culture of stay at the party until the chief product officer goes home?
Yeah, but I don't think we can make that a policy because
I don't think so.
A lot of people will get a hard time because I'm very often the last one to go to bed. So.
You are, and from what I've witnessed, you do have an immense amount of energy and passion for what you do. It is like 8:30.
Yeah.
You've had 2 days of really intense workshops with your team. Are you happy with the last 2 days?
I think for me, when we do this kind of workshop, it's half training, half, 1/3 training, 1/3 decision making and alignment, and 1/3 solutioning. It's really important to eat your own food, you know? What I'm trying to push to the team is how much we have to understand the context, understand our customer, understand the market, so we can have the best problem framing and we can identify the biggest problem. I love when we can go through this entire process and that we are leaving the room more confident than we enter the room because and it's a tricky exercise because when you get your team to think about problems during 4 hours, it can create a lot of anxiety. But if they are not facing their problem and our problem, and if we don't have a clear mind on where we are good and where we are not, we cannot progress. So it's always this fine balance between how much we want to expose everything we still have to do or not, and how many solutions we can find in order to fix that, you know?
The context is really interesting because it was something that I was often sharing with my team when I was in America, and I said people will be more motivated by the fact that if they understand the context, if they know why it is we do what we need to do, they'll put more effort towards the solution.
Of course.
And so do you learn that from someone? Did you learn that from reading? Do you just natively understand that?
I think I'm a very intuitive person, which is weird. Intuitive.
Yeah.
For someone that works in tech and data.
Yeah.
But I think I feel a lot of things And I think reading for me was a way to put patterns and framework into what I was feeling. So until some key readings for me, I could feel some stuff, but it was hard for me to be a leader and a manager because I didn't know how to explain what I was trying to achieve. And I think reading and going to training and watching video and etc. helped me deconstruct why I want to do things, you know?
You know, like in management, and like I'm have been way like right-brained, creative type person, and hence why we're doing a podcast and winging it at the same time. But you're taught, and maybe through my studies, I was taught more to be like, you have to shape the left side and be more process and more orientated that way. Where would you sit? Because the way I see it is, I see, and we've talked about how you're passionate and your energy and you're up all night, and unfortunately that's me. And then my downfall sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, is I go too fast. I don't let people catch up. And I had to learn as a leader when I was in my last role that you're only as good as the last person in your team. And if they can't keep the context and if they can't keep up and you've gone too fast, they fall off. And someone said, it's like being on the back of a jet ski and you're driving the boat and they're falling off and you haven't noticed and you're like just powering away. And you're like, well,
living your best life.
I love it out here. But where is my team?
Pierre, who is our chief revenue officer, who is a mentor to me, was always telling me, alone you go fast, together we go far. And I think I had to process this sentence a lot, you know, and now I really understand that. I think there is also understanding that, and what I'm going to say is going to sound a bit like politically correct, but I really mean it and I believe it, that we all have a different kind of intelligence, you know? And that if you are only surrounded by people that have your kind of intelligence, you're going to go faster, but you're going to go in the wrong direction. And now if you bring people around the table that have a different brain and a different way of thinking, it's much harder. It's much more frustration. It's much more conflicts. It's because we are French, so we don't know how to talk without conflict, you know?
Yeah. Fights. We must fight.
We must debate, you know?
Yeah. I don't like anything. I don't like this. I don't like anything. No, it's not so bad.
And, but if you, you know, if instead of trying to argue all the time, like, we disagree, okay? Let's say we disagree. Instead of trying to convince you, I ask you why you think the way you think and what are the information you have that make you think that this is the best decision. Now we're starting having a conversation that is so rich, you know?
Yep.
The way I look at it now is I don't think my job is not anymore to create a product because we are too big for that. My job is to create a team that can create a product. I'm looking at my team as a product. So I'm like, okay, what are the need, pain, and desire of my team? How do what are the biggest opportunity, and how can I solve for that? And I think for me, making this switch has made management super interesting. And since I'm looking at my organization as a product, I love working on my organization. And before that, I was a bit overwhelmed by micro issue, you know? Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it's like if you are a product team that is just trying to cope with every single support ticket, you're going to be overwhelmed. If now you are able to cluster support tickets and you are able to anticipate issue, you have a product strategy. And I think with your org, it's the same. If you look at individual issue people in your team can have, it's overwhelming. If now you make the job of understanding what's the pattern and how you can break the pattern and how you can enable them, it's super interesting, you know?
There's so many things that resonate with me.
I'm talking too much.
No. It's really, really interesting. So basically, you're not in the product anymore. And I've heard this before from other product leaders. You're now in enablement and you want your team to be elevated. And I saw this in the workshop where you gave context and then you step back and then you let everyone speak. And the room felt free to speak. It wasn't like everyone was like, I need to say something good so Lucie says I'm good. There's this trust in the group that it's like, this is what I think and this is what I feel. And I used to work for an Austrian company and I was trying to work out whether is it an international type understanding that causes this real reason to listen? Like really listen. I heard something the other day and they said, there's a reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
I know this one.
Yeah, listen more than you speak.
I know this one, yeah.
And I sat in a group with people today and I thought I'm an arrogant Australian and I've seen something before and I was like, I know what this is. And I would write it and then they would rewrite it as something else. And I'd be staring at it going, it doesn't even make sense what they've written. And then you would go, why is this? And then you actually start to unwrap what they mean. And by asking the questions, you get deeper into a solution. And then even me, who can be too quick to jump to a conclusion, can then come back a step and go, I see what you're saying. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's the 5 whys.
Now we're on to something. 5 whys. This is a trait that I'm familiar with. Is this something that you bring to your
Yeah, I'm trying
team?
to, yeah. So someone, it could be a customer, it could be your boss, it could be your partner is coming to you and is like, can you do this for me? And you think it's a really bad idea, or you think it's not the priority, or it's going to take you too much time and you don't have time, okay? So now you are like in a situation of complete misunderstanding and you're not going to agree, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're focusing on solution. If now I tell you, why do you want to do that? Why do you want me to have another glass of champagne?
Because you seem to be enjoying it. Is this true?
You're tricking me now. Why do you think I'm enjoying it?
Because the other glasses have disappeared. Do you think salespeople ask 5 times why?
They should. I think it's a discovery meeting. It's about asking 5 times why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think you need Contentsquare? Okay, because it's going to help my organization. Why do you think your organization needs to be helped? You know, and you go back, and then now you have the full context. Again, we're going back to the context.
So are you an extroverted person?
Very,
you like it?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm someone that is very extrovert, but I think like we think that extroverts always need to be with people. I think we get our energy from people. We get so much energy from people, but we also get drained because we don't know how to stop. I think extrovert people don't realize how much they need alone time.
It's true, because we burn out.
We don't know how to say no. Like very often, like people are going to like when can I see you? And you know you don't have time because you already have this like massive day, and the next day is going to be massive, and you know you should go back at the hotel and rest, but the opportunity is here, so you're gonna go, you know, and you're gonna love it. But if at some point you don't break the pattern and get some time to rest and reflect and digest, then you are like...
you break down.
Yes.
You blow out. So we've covered a lot. You must be exhausted.
No, I'm good.
Because of course you have so much energy.
No, but because I love talking.
Oh,
and I love talking about myself because I have a big ego, you know, like...
You do not. You like talking, but you like the energy.
Talking.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
This is why this could go on. In fact, if we're really honest, and no one would actually know this post-edit, but we talked so much that the battery went flat on my portable camera. that I brought with me.
Then now we have to do it again.
We don't have an amazing
Pretend
sound.
it's spontaneous.
Scene. Oh my God. And you're like, of all the people to go, hey, the podcast failed, we need to do it again. You'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah. Do you want me to talk again for another hour? I can do that. Now, to finish, because, you know, as much as I would talk forever about this.
Advice to my young self.
How did you know the question was coming? Have you read my notes upside down? Advice to your 18-year-old self.
Okay. So from 12 to 18, I was dreaming of being 25 or 30 years old because I was dreaming of, I think I was dreaming of being autonomous, you know? Oh. I was dreaming of being able to do whatever I want without asking permission. So, but because the camera did what the camera did, I had time to think, and I think it was like I was so annoying to my parents because I was always asking them questions about why this thing work like this and why these things work like this, and so. Like when the camera shut down, I just thought about that. So my advice would be like continue asking yourself why and continue asking why, you know? I was telling you how I think my career or my professional development has been about how do you put framework into intuition, you know? And I think I've been always asking why, but now I know that it's my job to ask why, and I can explain to people why it's good to ask why, you know? Yeah. So continue asking why and like refuse the situation when you don't think it should be the situation. Don't agree with something that is not what you want, you know? Like if you want more, if you think it's unfair, if you think like fight for it. Like, fight for it.
Is that a French trade, or is that just what you've learned?
To fight for
what you want.
I think I was born like this.
Don't you have to compromise at some point, or are there moments where you have to compromise?
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you become the vampire.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I think you have to understand
for what you really believe in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Choose your battle. I think this I've learned later, but I think it's a lot about choose your battle. If you, like when I was a teenager, I was the worst teenager.
Were you?
I was fighting for everything. Like you can ask my mom, like every morning when we were having breakfast, I was like so upset about so many things. Someone would say something on the TV and I would blow up because it was not okay. Yeah. And I think growing up, I learned how I can pick the right battle, you know? Mm. And for the other battle, it's not exactly how I want it to be, but it's okay, you know? And the other thing about that is focus on the problem. Like if someone is like creating a solution that you don't think it's the best solution, you think another solution could have been like better, if they are fixing the problem, at the end of the day, like the problem is going to be fixed.
Pick the battles.
Pick the battles.
I like it. But then when you do, fight for what you believe in. Exactly. And be passionate about what you believe in.
When you go to battle, fight and win.
All right, last question. Very last, very, very last question. I want you to project into the future 5 years, 10 years, maybe longer, and finish this sentence. AI will ...
I hope AI is going to enable us focusing on the right thing. I hope AI can help us like spend less time into the things that are less rewarding for us and allow us to spend more time into the things that are rewarding for us.
Less of the mundane, manual, more of the things that make us happy.
Yeah, but if the main thing make you happy, like, I think it's really about, again, it's about knowing what are the inefficiency of your life, you know? What are the things you don't like to do? What are the things that are draining your energy because this is not who you are? And if AI can support that, amazing. if AI decide everything for us, decide which content, which video, which conversation we're having, like social network and dating app are doing now, I think it's a bit sad.
Very much so. Lucie, thank you so much. This has been one of the most fun conversations.
I loved it.
Yeah? You had a good time?
No, it was amazing.
Thanks for being on the podcast, Lucie.
Thank you so much for having me.
I look forward to maybe having another chat with you at some point, somewhere.
Maybe we can have another chat.
Maybe. All right.
Hopefully.